NYSE listed Hagerty specializes in insuring classic cars, and they're in New York City to reveal their 2026 bull market list, essentially the cars to watch. Joining me now is Hagerty CEO McKeel Hagerty. Welcome to the New York Stock Exchange.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
This business launched in 1984. It is a family business. You have been involved in the business full time for 30 years. Can you take me through the evolution of Hagerty?
It started as literally a retirement business for my parents who had been in the insurance business prior. And they knew that there were these little niches in the insurance world where there was a lot of passion. And wherever there's a lot of passion, that means there's better risk from an insurance standpoint. And it started off actually insuring a tiny little niche of wooden boats, classic wooden boats. Not a lot of people would even think about that as an insurance opportunity. And then it evolved mostly into what was used to be called the classic car space or the collector car space. And now we look at it as this bigger enthusiast vehicle category, which is cars that people want to own. They own because they love them, because they're drivers. They love that whole aspect of driving and owning cool cars and the community around it. So it's been an amazing few decades, and we've been 4 years here listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with cars.
How large is the classic car market?
It's larger than people think. So when we look at the collector car market, just looking at the US, it's over 35 million vehicles in our kind of target category. And these are cars right now that are registered and that are extra cars in people's households. And they have some other characteristic that makes them interesting. Usually what that means is the values are going up over time rather than, you buy a new car and it kind of goes down in value. These kind of collectible cars, they're going up, and that's our world. And we surround them with insurance. We have our membership offering, which we call Hagerty Drivers Club. And now we have an auction company where we help people buy and sell these cars. So it's a whole ecosystem that kind of works together, and it's a bigger world than a lot of people think.
Is there a specific profile of a classic car collector?
Car collectors, they tend to be in the middle of their life where they have a little bit of discretionary income, and they tend to own their home. They tend to have regular daily driven cars that they drive on a daily basis for a transportation standpoint. And then, they're feeling good about things and they want to go buy that special car that they drive on a sunny Sunday afternoon or for some kind of pleasure purpose. And that's our world. And this pattern of people buying cars like this has been going on for decades. Actually, almost 100 years people have been collecting cars. So it's a long tradition. It's a bigger world than people think. And contrary to popular belief, the next generation is getting into collecting cars. And that's why we published this bull market list, which is to look at not just, okay, what are the cars on the rise, but what are the cars that the next generation is looking at and paying attention to.
That's right. You just launched the 2026 bull market list, essentially the cars to watch. What cars made the cut and why?
It's 11 cars on the list, and they're in different categories. So there's always some iconic sort of higher valued cars on the list. And this year it's the Porsche Carrera GT, which was a car built in the early 2000s, very high performance, kind of the last analog, a purely analog high performance car. And of course, Porsche is a brand that's been on the rise for the last 10 years. Then there's this whole list of kind of drivers cars underneath that. So a really affordable example, which they made over 1.2 million of, is the Mazda Miata. The second series of them is now really on the rise. That's a car that was $10,000 for a long time, and now it's sort of mid-teens, $16,000, $17,000 car. The most collectible car in the world, in the US, is the Corvette. And this year, the Corvette Z06, the C6 Z06, which is a really high performance variant, made the list. BMW M5, another, again, kind of driver, fun, performance car, kind of the high watermark of BMWs. But then there's another big trend underneath here that we've been watching for a few years, which is kind of trucks and SUVs. We know that, today, modern drivers are often buying trucks and SUVs as their daily use vehicle. And the vintage variants of those are really starting to show that collectability. So this year we have a really high performance Chevrolet pickup truck. There's a Dodge Ram Charger, which was kind of like the Dodge version of a Ford Bronco, and Broncos have been really popular lately. And then kind of finally rounding out the list, we always sort of look at earlier kind of vintage classic cars and say, okay, what are the cars that maybe are more like their parents' cars or their grandparents' cars? What are those that are starting to show interest for this next generation? And this year, the team picked the Continental Mark II, which is a really cool 50s stylish going out to dinner car.
What was the criteria for the list?
Well, it's driven by a couple of things. One, we have a world-class media team that is out there writing stories about what people like and what people are interested in. And so they help kind of pick the list. But most of it is data-driven. The beautiful thing about insurance as a core business is not just, well, it's a really good business, it's that it's full of data. So we can see what are people buying, what are they selling, what values are going up, what are those trends? And then we can also see, what are the specific demographics and customer groups that are buying those. So this group was really emerged from our data over the last year, and we're going to be looking at pretty closely to see how they do.
And classic cars are one of the largest alternative asset classes in the US. How do you see that area evolving?
Biggest question that I get asked is, what does the next generation think about cars in general? And then if they are interested, what are they interested in? And we always try to tell people this is a very durable asset class. When we go back, generations, literally my father's generation, my generation, and now down to the Gen Y and Gen Zers, is that the interest in cars does shift over time. And we're seeing this sort of rotation out of really, really vintage cars and much more towards sort of modern, high performance, even supercars. And that's a really fun thing to watch in the auction space. But it's durable because even in downturns, these cars tend to hold their value very well. In the last few years, there's been some, kind of cross currents in this space where some cars are really rising, and the ones that may not be at the top of the list are still holding their values really well. And we saw this tracking all the way back to the Great Financial Crisis, further back than that in our company history, the kind of dot-com challenges in the early 2000s. Many of those cars really held their own as an asset class. And the best thing about it is they're also fun. And so, yes, you can put some money in it. You're probably going to keep that money, but you're going to be able to drive that car during its lifetime with you and have a great time along the way.
If people want to get involved in classic cars, what's a good entry point?
Well, a great entry point is to just start doing a lot of reading and research. Of course, most of those resources are now online. I strongly recommend that people read our stuff that we provide online, the Hagerty valuation tools. Start watching some of our YouTube channel. We have 3.6 million subscribers on our YouTube channel. And this is not about insurance. This is just about the fun and love of driving, the community around collecting cars and what's hot, what's not, what are the interesting cars, and get to feel what you like first, and then start learning a little bit about the values. And then if you want, you can come take a little bit of a shopping break on our Hagerty Marketplace and take a look at what is actually for sale today.
I understand that there's a trend in the classic car market of fractional ownership. Can you share more about that?
It's another great entry point to the car world. And, sometimes these are in the form of clubs where, a group of owners will get together and they'll buy a group of cars and then they can own little pieces of them, enjoy different sorts of things. And then there actually are some investing funds out there where people are buying, sort of fractional pieces of cars more as an investment, but sometimes also for usage. So great entry point and really a sign of, how the vintage car world is adapting to these new styles of ownership.
Why do you think you have over 3 million subscribers? What is it about classic cars?
Well, it's a passionate space. So, again, contrary to what some people think about the next generation, they're passionate about cars. They just learned about them differently than earlier generations. So they grew up playing video games and they grew up watching, YouTube and other places to learn the cars that they wanted to enjoy. And we decided to do is just publish really high quality content. Let's not, we're not going to over commercialize it. It just has to be great, fun content made by some of the best, influencers and car experts out there. And it's fun. I love to watch it.
Where can they find it?
Well, it's at Hagerty.com, Hagerty.
All right, McKeel Hagerty from Hagerty. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.